Let me back this up with a bit more detail. This is an AI contribution. Between 1780 and 1820, the world witnessed some of the most climatically significant geological events in recorded history, including eruptions that altered global temperatures and triggered major social upheavals. So that's the summary. So we go through the volcanic ones first. Laki, Iceland, 1783 to 84, massive fissure eruption released 122 megatons, that's million tons, of sulfur dioxide, creating a dry fog that spread across northern hemisphere, resulting in famine. Let's see, I lost it, hang on a sec. Yeah, this is stuff we've covered, so where do we want to get to? Iceland's population caused extreme weather that contributed to the French Revolution. Mount Tambora, Indonesia, 1815, largest volcanic eruption, 1300 years. Ejected so much that it caused a year without summer, 1816, so we know all that, we've got that. Mount Vesuvius, multiple, a very active period for the volcano, with notable eruptions 1779, 1785, 94, 1805, 1810, 1812, 1813, 1817, 1820. Okay. Significant earthquakes. 1783, a devastating sequence of 5 major earthquakes struck southern Italy over 2 months, causing massive tsunamis and tens of thousands of fatalities. Mexico, 87, an 8.3 magnitude earthquake, one of the largest in Mexican history, March 28, 1787. USA. You've seen mudslides, mud effects in the USA on these buildings too. These classified, if you like, as Tartarian-style buildings. A series of at least 3 massive earthquakes, magnitudes 7 to 8, in the central USA that were so powerful they reportedly caused the Mississippi River to flow backwards for a time. What's next? Iceland, 1783. Intense earthquake swarms preceded and accompanied the Laki eruption, which again. You can visit the USGS Earthquake Hazards Program or the Smithsonian Institution of Global Volcanism Program, it says here. And so you can do your own research, so to speak. Well, in summary, more or less, I suppose we're talking about the worst seismic activity in recorded history. Yeah. And what do we get in the 1800s? Suddenly Tartaria disappears from the maps, and we're left with supposing that The only thing out there is then the nomadic peoples, and, well, not that nomadic, but other indigenous peoples that didn't rely on this wonderful technology, perhaps, that could survive, no problem, Russian winters. And perhaps as we go back, the Russian winters weren't quite that bad as we envisage. It's certainly enough to finish off Napoleon trying to come home from Moscow. But there was something I noticed about when the first light snows were experienced. He was already in Moscow, wasn't he? It's not that he'd lost his soldiers because of the cold at that point. He'd lost his soldiers, so many of them, because of the lack of ordnance, supplies, food, scorched earth policy going ahead of him by the Russians as they made retreat, battles all the way, reducing the number of his men anyway, but starvation, and it's also reported disease. So by the time he gets to Moscow, it's said that his force was down from 800,000 to something like 100,000. Of course, you can't rely on the figures, but something not good, put it that way. And this is before the cold really sets in on the return trip home. And it's a long way from, between Moscow and the Polish border. Well, suffice to say, he's in no position really to fight major wars from then on. I mean, the Prussians and the British had a relatively easy job to cope with. I don't mean it was not the usual fearful, horrible battle. But the job had already been done, hadn't it? And in as far as people at all are responsible for the downfall of Napoleon, it's the Russians coping with him attacking Moscow, harassing him all the way there, and probably all the way home. Is this a likely account of the situation? Might be. It's a historicity, I'm sure, but thank you, Heavenly Dad. Yes, I'm reminded of another thing I want to add. Technologies, are much more advanced than the general public are told and get to know. I mean, for strategic military reasons and political reasons and so on. I mean, the Russians were well equipped with rockets for destroying cities. The outbreak of smallpox probably finished off a lot of the population that wasn't really wanted. A convenient disease. Well, the Russians didn't actually have it when the Empress and her chief assistant got inoculated. I think it was an English, English chap that did it for them. At great reward and secrecy. Massive orphanages being built to repopulate the population, I don't know. We had orphan trains all over the world. But there's nothing new under the sun. I mean, British Empire was successfully built on the diseases that we naturally took to the people, leave alone anything we might have deliberately put there. Perhaps we didn't have the savvy and know-how then, but we did know what they were dying of. And it didn't just decimate. It wasn't 10% of the populations. It was 90% of indigenous peoples in many of the new countries that we graced with our presence. Dear one, there's nothing new under the sun. It doesn't bear looking at, and there's no need to. So I should stop here, shouldn't I? Should I not publish this string of recordings? I don't know. It's a relatively sanitized version of the evidence that can be found in abundance. We'll leave it at that. Thank you, Heavenly Dad.